Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. I am Annika Spalding, the Community Relations Director here at the Amarillo Little Theater. And this is Thursdays at 3, where I go live every Thursday to get you caught up on what's happening this week at ALT. Thank goodness this season, Thursdays at 3 is generously sponsored by our friends at Brick and Elm Magazine, Amarillo's premier lifestyle magazine. Their September-October issue is full of great articles written by local contributors and will keep you up to date on what's happening in Amarillo. So make sure to follow Brick and Elm on social media, especially for their Things You Can't Miss This Week in Amarillo series. You can pick up Brick and Elm's current issue, but not for much longer. Their new issue is about to come out, but this one is so great. Make sure to grab it. You can pick that up on newsstands right now, or you can subscribe at brickandelm.com. Okay, over the weekend, I received this totally unsolicited video from a patron encouraging people to participate at ALT, and I want to share it with you. So let's take a look.
Take this 71-year-old woman's word who missed her chance. Enroll in acting classes at the Amarillo Little Theater and be sure to see all the plays and the wonderful musicals they hold at both the Alan Shankles main stage and the Adventure Space. You won't regret it, I promise.
Isn't that sweet? That is Andrea Elise, and she sent this to me on Saturday, totally out of the blue. And I agree. I think you should come and join us at ALT. Andrea, thank you so much for your submission. If you happen to see this, we are so grateful for you encouraging people to participate at ALT. The more, the merrier. Okay, we're very excited. Do not miss your chance to see Arsenic and Old Lace at the Alan Shankles main stage tonight through this Sunday, November 3rd. Tickets for the special Halloween performance tonight are 2 for 1 with code Elderberry. Only 4 more chances to see this classic dark comedy. You can get your tickets by calling the ALT box office at 806-355-9991 or by heading over to our website at amarillolittletheater.org. So make sure to get your tickets either for tonight, the Halloween performance, 2 for 1, or for the rest of the weekend. But those seats are filling up very, very quickly. So call or get online to get your tickets as soon as you possibly can. I think it would be really fun to see a show like Arsenic and Old Lace on Halloween. You could come in costume. I just think that would be a really cool thing to do. So if you don't have anything to do tonight, if you're not taking kids trick-or-treating or Halloween parties or whatnot, come see Arsenic and Old Lace. Or you can get your tickets through the library, through our Checkout ALT library program, sponsored this season by Pantex. Library card holders can check out tickets to see ALT shows just like they check out books, totally for free. Tickets are available for Arsenic and Old Lace for the performances tonight on Halloween and the final performance this Sunday, November 3rd. You can check out these tickets at the downtown branch of the Amarillo Public Library, the Canyon Area Library, and now the Carson County Public Library. Availability is limited, and you can see more details of that program on our social media posts or over on our website. Just click on the community tab and then check out ALT to get all the details. And if you'd like to help out with ushering and concessions for Arsenic and Old Lace, we would love to have you. Remember, if you help with ushering or concessions and we have available seating the night that you help, you can see the show completely for free. If you'd like to help out, please contact our volunteer coordinator, Lissa Guerin, by calling 806-355-9991 at the box office or by emailing her at the email address you see on your screen. Okay, we just posted about this today, and I am so excited about it. Get ready to rock around the AL Tree. On Black Friday, November 29th, Amarillo Little Theater will be hosting Rockin' Around the AL Tree, a live telethon event in partnership with the Panhandle Gives. We are going all out to raise money for ALT, and we want you to be a part of it. So we are doing this live telethon in honor of the Panhandle Gives. It's going to be really, really cool. It's going to be right here at the Alan Shankles main stage on Black Friday. So do your shopping during the day and then come hang out with us in person, or we're going to stream it, hopefully in black and white. It's going to be very cool. It's going to be that Friday, the 29th, Black Friday, from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Alan Shankles main stage, or like I said, catch it online in classic black and white. You can enjoy coffee and a hot cocoa bar in the Turk lobby, or grab a bite to eat in the food truck we'll have in the parking lot. But here's where all of our amazing ALT volunteers come in. So we want you to be the stars of the show. We have all the talent baked in to ALT, so why not put it to good use, right? Showcase your talent by singing your favorite Christmas song, reading a holiday poem, dancing to a festive tune, or performing anything else Christmas themed. If you've got a great idea, do it. All you have to do is email me, because we have to put the show order together, And I'll tell you the rest of what you need to do. Jason Crespin is going to serve as the evening's MC. So you know the halls will be decked and the night will be anything but silent. Come join us and let's fill the stage with holiday cheer while helping us raise funds for the theater we all love. So the way that you join, you're going to donate $25 to ALT during the Panhandle Gives. So it has to be during the Panhandle Gives, anytime before that Black Friday, the 29th, because we want to make sure to have your $25 donation before you get on stage to perform. And you're in. That's all you have to do. And then email our community relations director, that would be me, by November 15th with your name and your performance idea to secure your spot. And let me go ahead and put my email address. It's just Annika@AmarilloLittleTheater.org. I don't know that I have it up here. It's been a while. There it is. That's my email address. So if you have an idea and you want to be a part of the telethon, this is for all ages. There's no discrimination there, from 2 to 92, whatever. Come join us and be a part of this telethon to raise money for the Panhandle Gives. We're very, very excited about this. Let's show Amarillo how ALT celebrates the holidays, all while supporting the arts. Okay, and don't forget to come and get your free bookmark from the box office or any of our local library branches, or even at Burrowing Owl Books, and join the Academy Book Club. It is open to anyone young and old to join. You can read up on how Academy Book Club works by heading over to the Academy's Facebook page or on Instagram, and that handle is at ALT Academy. This is the Academy Book Club bookmark. So, so cute. It has the Charlotte's Web and James and the Giant Peach little logos there. You'll collect your stamps on the back and then enter in the spring, if you get all 4 of your stamps, to win a grand prize. We're so pumped about that. Also, the Academy Showstoppers Show Choir has started selling butter braid bread to raise money for their trip to Orlando in February. So be looking out for that. They will only be selling it until November 8th. So don't miss out. And this is very, very cool. Calling all 13 to 16-year-old boys. We have a casting call for a teen role in a feature film. This is a paid union SAG-AFTRA gig. A production company is casting for a pivotal teen role in a drama thriller feature film, and it's set to shoot this winter in Amarillo. This is really an incredible opportunity to work alongside renowned film professionals. They are casting for the role of Steven, a Caucasian male, 13 to 16 years old, who is sensitive, edgy, and hungry for a challenge. No acting experience required, but candidates must be authentic, collaborative, and committed. Steven is a sensitive teenager who has faced bullying and feels isolated. Raised at Boys Ranch, he now lives with foster parents, but struggles with emotional scars, longing for acceptance. Shooting dates will be between January 6th and February 21st. The deadline for submissions is November 10th. For more information on how to submit your audition and what exactly to do when you record yourself and all that's required, go ahead and contact our Academy director, Harrison Stringer. His email is harrison@AmarilloLittleTheater.org. That is so, so exciting. I would have killed for an opportunity like that as a kid. So if you know any 13 to 16-year-old Caucasian males who want to audition for that, let us know. Contact us here at ALT or email Harrison Stringer at harrison@AmarilloLittleTheater.org. Let's keep it going. I've got so much going on here today. Okay, we are trying to raise money for ALT you can participate in our Don't Shoot Your Eye Out Sporting Clays shoot for the Amarillo Little Theater. That is a mouthful. All the sponsor levels are listed on that graphic you see on your screen. You don't have to be a sponsor. You can also just participate. This is loaded on our ticketing website and ready to go. This is going to be at the Amarillo Gun Club on December 7th. If you enjoy clay shooting, please come join us and raise money for the theater. You can come individually or you can come as a team. Just make sure to buy your 2 mulligans. You can purchase those as well. Lots and lots of fun to be had. That schedule is right there on your screen. If you need more information about this fundraiser for ALT, please contact our box office at 355-9991. We are trying so many different ways to raise money for the theater, and you guys always show up for us. So we're very, very grateful for that. More exciting news here at ALT. The box office will open to the public for Charlotte's Web this Monday, November 4th at 10 a.m. So be ready to get your tickets. What am I trying to say? I have no doubt. I was about to say I have no idea. I have no doubt that this show is going to totally sell out. We already snagged our tickets. I'm very, very excited about this. And remember, if you are an Academy parent and you want to go see shows at the Adventure Space and you don't want to wait in those lines, join our producer circle. Because now, if you're a producer circle member, you don't have to get in line. You can reserve your seats at the Adventure Space now. Just saying. come join our producer circle. We'd love to have you. That money is really, really needed for the theater. So if you're interested, contact the box office and they'll get you all set up with that. Speaking of more fundraisers for the theater, why not? Let's just keep it going. Karaoke night is coming to ALT. Get ready to be a star for the night. Sing your heart out to your favorite tunes and even challenge a friend to sing. This fundraiser is for all ages and talents, and we cannot wait to see you on the stage. All proceeds will benefit our fabulous ALT showstoppers and their upcoming trip to Orlando. I am really pumped about this karaoke night. I think it's going to be so much fun. If you know anything about musicals at ALT, we do mic checks before every single show that we do. And there's always a mic check theme. And everyone comes prepared for mic check theme night. So this is going to be really, really cool. And you don't have to be a theater person. If you just like doing karaoke, please come join us. It's going to be great. It's going to be so great. Let's keep it going with our volunteer of the week. Okay, congratulations to Courtney and Aiden Frazier. They have been a huge help painting for Charlotte's Web, and Aiden is playing Gander in the show. We are so grateful for this mother and son power team. Thank you so much, Courtney and Aiden, for all you do for ALT. Let's keep going with some breaking. I cut myself off, but that was breaking Broadway news. Let's keep going. Good Night and Good Luck, starring George Clooney, has announced its Broadway theater and performance dates. The play will begin previews at the Winter Garden Theater March 12th, 2025, with an opening night set for April 3rd. And big theater news, next year we can all be 30 and flirty and thriving when the musical adaptation of 13 Going on 30 premieres in the UK. The world premiere production of this highly anticipated musical will open at Manchester Opera House in the UK for a limited season beginning September 21st, 2025. And finally, farewell, old sport. Jeremy Jordan will play his final performance in The Great Gatsby in early 2025. So sad about that. You've waited long enough. Please welcome my guests, stars of Arsenic and Old Lace, Shannon Mashburn and Zach Oehm. Hello, my friends.
Sorry about the crazy music in the back. We're in a class change. It'll go off in a minute.
We're catching everyone in the middle of their day, so I'm just grateful that you guys are even willing to join me. While we're here together, let's look at some production photos of you two in action. This is like my favorite part of interviews on Thursdays at 3. Oh my gosh. And of course, we have to read Preston's review. The show was fantastic, and visits to ALT remain one of my favorite things about moving home. Amarillo isn't exactly known for its art scene. Well, it is now, but it ought to be. There's an enormous amount of talent right here in our backyard, and ALT is first class. I love that. I'm excited to see whatever this scene is. I cannot wait to see that. Oh my gosh, Chris Gandy's in trouble there.
I mean, I'll be honest. I put my blinders on, so I haven't even seen some of these photos yet. So this is great to see too.
You're getting a first look. That's great. And Cindy says the show was funny and full of mystery and energy. The set was spectacular, and the whole experience was just right for a fun, Halloweenish, but family night at the theater. I love that review. Love, love, love that. So, these photos are so great. I love them so much. Okay, so I would love it if each of you would just introduce yourselves and tell us who you play in the show. Shannon, let's start with you.
I'm Shannon Mashburn, and I play Abby Brewster, one of the murderous old aunts.
Love it. Zach, what about you?
My name is Zach Oehm, and I'm taking on the role of Jonathan Brewster, one of the iconic nephews to the matrons of our play.
So excited to see this show. Zach, for those who don't know the show or have never seen the movie Arsenic and Old Lace, can you just tell us what it's about?
Without giving too much away, we essentially get a little peek into the Brewster household and how the day-to-day as the aunts see fit take place, which is not a typical family dynamic. And more chaos unfolds as more family members join in that space, it gets real crowded and real messy.
Zach, that was a masterful description of the plot without spoilers.
I'm not even
Trying to keep it
like
in the play.
masterful. Love that. And Megan says the boys and I will be there Saturday. We can't wait.
Yay!
Love that. So excited to see you at the theater, Megan, as always. And very excited about seeing your boys in Christmas Story too. Okay, so Shannon, you've been a volunteer at ALT since you were a literal child.
Yeah.
I would ask if doing shows at ALT ever gets old, but clearly it doesn't since you're still here after all these years. So can you tell us what keeps you coming back to ALT?
Well, first of all, I mean, the passion for the art is there. As an actor, you constantly crave the stage, but I've been in several other theaters in my lifetime, and there really is something special about ALT. I've met all of the very best friends that I have in my life. I've met on stage at ALT and raised my children on stage at ALT. And it's just it's funny because my car automatically tells me if I'm going to work, to church, or to ALT. It's my watch.
Knows.
My watch knows.
So your brother knows.
Yeah, it does. My watch knows, okay, it's time to go to ALT. ALT really is the place to be. You just meet the best people, and it's always just good fun. Always.
I could not agree more. Emma says, what is the last day to see? Emma, the last show is this Sunday, November 3rd at 2:30. So there's a special Halloween performance tonight at 7:30, and those tickets are buy one, get one free. There's another performance tomorrow at 8 o'clock, Saturday at 8 o'clock, and then the last performance Sunday. And I think there's only one ticket left on Sunday at 2:30. Thank you so much for your question. And Susan, Shannon's mama, says the show was absolutely hilarious. The characters are a hoot. I cannot wait, Susan. I'm seeing it on Sunday. I cannot wait to see it. I'm so excited. So, okay, Zach, you're newer to ALT. And started your journey with Clyburn Park a few years ago. So we last saw you on stage this time last year, though, starring in Chemical Imbalance. You were fabulous in that show. What were your first impressions of ALT when you first showed up to audition?
Well, I mean, the first time I ever auditioned was actually a more funny story. The more amazing people I get to meet, because I've been lucky now in these 3 shows.
Yeah.
It's a different director with a largely different cast. So I'm meeting a lot of these folks who, for a few shows before I had an audition, I'm seeing them perform, and now I get to work alongside them, which is really exciting. But that first sort of on a whim, I think it was like a night 2 of auditions, and I think it was literally just me and Crystal's partner, Patrick, I believe. Right? Yeah. Patrick is his name.
Yep.
So it was just the 2 of us. So my experience to start auditioning was just Patrick and I kind of going back and forth doing some of these cold reads, and then of course callbacks. The other folks came into the space to join us, but it was one of those like I didn't. Right, I had no idea, and he was committing hard to the directions he was going, and so I was just like, oh gosh, like that kind of set a tone, and then it was just it became a very interesting environment to join, because like I said, it's as Shannon said, I crave the stage at times. I work on the backstage end for my day to day, so I build a lot of sets, but every now and then I just got to scratch that itch.
I get it. I totally get it. So Zach, what has your experience been like with Arsenic, working specifically with Peg Lovett? Peg Lovett is the director of Arsenic, for those of you who don't know. What has that been like for you?
It's definitely a whole new experience, and it's one of those, I love it just because every person tackles, whether it's creatively or logistically, they tackle these things in new and different ways that I might not have approached it that way, but it opens up this world of directions I could go. So these bits that Leanne and Shannon are doing, or that Chris is doing, or that myself and Jeff are doing, we probably wouldn't have created some of those if the environment that Peg is setting for us didn't allow for those bits to exist in the first place. So I've enjoyed that a lot.
What about you, Shannon? What about this process working with Peg has been great for you?
Well, I've known Peg professionally for a long time. She was a theater teacher and, excuse me, and a UIL judge. But then a couple of years ago, I got to work with her on Double Wide Texas Christmas, which was my first time to work with her as my director. And she is always so positive with us. I mean, even when we're in trouble, she still manages to say, I love you guys and you are still doing right, but fix this. She's very giving and very nurturing as a director, which is nice because that's not always the case in theater.
Yeah.
But to work with her, she laughs heartily at our jokes over and over and over again, even though I know she can't possibly think anything's funny after seeing it for the 100th
And she's a really funny woman, so I'm sure to get a laugh from her is really validating.
It is. And she's always there, with a positive comment and a pat on the back. And so, but this turn with this show is way different from Double Wide, because Double Wide, we had a lot of newcomers to the stage. A lot of the cast, it was their very first show ever. And, that was interesting as a theater teacher and director to watch adult actors do what my high schoolers do. But this show has been so different because the majority of the cast are veterans. And Lene and we made an exit. We were in our tech week last week, or as we call it at ALT Hill Week, and we made an exit and we got to sit there on the side, and she and I just sat there together watching Chris and Zach and Jeff do one scene. And she looked at me and she goes, isn't it fun to get to watch professional actors just play? And that's really what this show has been, because all of us are such veterans, and yet this is the first time that many of us have gotten to work together. And so it's like going to a school with people that you've always wanted to be in school with and getting to play in the sandbox all day. It's been so fun. And there's nights that, whether we've been in rehearsal or performance, that I look at Lene Jacob, who, again, I've known since I was 15 years old, but I've never been on stage with her. I look at Chris Gandy. I look at Zach. The other night, it was Zach, honestly, Saturday night. He and I at one point in time are like face to face. And I don't know, Zach, I haven't told you this, but I was standing there face to face with him. And I had this thought go through my head, Shannon, you're on stage acting with Zach. And I was just kind of overwhelmed for a second that somebody like me got to be on stage with an actor of that caliber. And I feel that way about literally the entire cast. I mean, it's just watching this show is a masterclass in acting, but acting in this show alongside these actors has been such an amazing blessing that it's just, I don't know. I've been doing shows at ALT since I was 17. Well, actually 16. I turned 17, and I've acted alongside some really great actors, but collectively this cast is just extraordinary.
That makes me so happy to hear from both of you that you've enjoyed the process and that it's also been fulfilling as well. I just love that. I absolutely love that. So when I interview cast members of comedies, just because comedies require so much chemistry among cast members, I always like to ask about the experience with the cast. So Shannon, can you talk about your experience working with this group of actors a little bit, like elaborate a little bit more specifically on that?
Well, we don't have chemistry at all. It's really sad.
No one's going to enjoy it. I don't know why
it's supposed to be a comedy, but it's sad. No, again, like I said, this cast, and Zach also said it, we've watched each other act on stage. And, first of all, I get to be on stage next to my best friend, Justin Lowe, which is always so special because he and our friendship turned 18 this year, so it can finally vote.
Wow.
But getting to be next to some of the dearest friends that I have in this world, and next to actors that I admire, and we just play off each other. I mean, again, there was one night Zach and I got way too close to each other. Our noses were almost touching, and both of us had to fight laughing, but we controlled it. And I mean, the chemistry is just there. Zach and Jeff together are just, it's just comedy gold. And Lene and I we just clicked from the very first time that we read in the very first audition. As a matter of fact, it was the last reading of the night of the first audition. Peggy finally put Lene and I up there together. And I mean, Lene and I we just clicked.
Yeah.
And we sat down and everybody was like, that was magic. And so we just have the right combination of personalities. I think we all have a mutual respect for each other as human beings and as actors. And we genuinely enjoy being together. I mean, we like each other's company. We enjoy each other on stage. And so it's just been, again, it's been an amazing experience.
I love to hear that. What about you, Zach?
I mean, I would have to first just agree. I remember that first night of auditions in spite of how long that night was, there were a lot of people showed up. It was a very competitive atmosphere, but you and Lene standing up there, it was just like, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Cause watching those two is a lot of fun. It's a very it's a style of comedy that I've always enjoyed because I still go back to watch, your Laurel and Hardys or your Abbott and Costellos. You got your kind of straight man and your kind of goofy oddball, and it's like that's the dynamic, and it's just so fun to watch because it's so good. But I would steal the term that Jeff was talking to me about. Maybe it was during the end of our run last weekend, or maybe even last night when we were just kind of refreshing stuff. But I'm going to steal this from him because it's true, and I think it's true for at least my feeling with folks on stage, and even just watching folks that I don't get to share the space with on stage, and that's trust. I think comedy is, yes, about chemistry, but it's also about trust. Like, you can have good dynamics, but if I can't trust you to kind of get me out of a tight spot, if we do goof something up, then it can go off the rails hard. And I think there's an immense amount of trust amongst these fantastic people who I am finally getting to see and work with and be on stage with. Because I look at them as the giants whose shoulders I get to stand on, right? Because I still see myself as sort of newer in this space, and I've been lucky enough to be able to share the space on stage with these individuals, and the amount of trust that I have with Jeff and Jeff has with me, or that I have with Shannon has with me. Like, I knew that we would get out of that moment because Shannon just kind of straightens up my lapels and then walks off, and I just treat it as that's what we've always done, even though we never did it until that night. I trusted it.
Isn't it so funny how I mean, I want to know what you guys think of this, because as you were talking, Zach, I started thinking about trust and comedies versus dramas. And I feel like you would think that being vulnerable kind of lends itself more towards drama, but comedy is very vulnerable. It's especially with a show like this, where there's, especially in rehearsals, when you're doing probably quite a lot of improv and just trying to work things out, you have to make yourself really vulnerable. If you don't, you'll be stiff and you won't be giving what you need to give to your scene partners. I feel like comedy requires so much vulnerability in a very different way than a drama would. And so hearing you talk about having that trust with your scene partners would have to be so crucial when you're kind of laid bare there doing comedy. I feel like comedy is harder. That's my opinion. Comedy is harder than drama. I feel like there's just more layers required to a degree with comedy. What do you guys think about all of that?
Oh, I agree 100%, because if the joke doesn't land, you're laying out there naked, and there's nothing you can do to cover it. Where in drama, if that poignant moment doesn't exactly hit, you can still push a little bit, but in comedy, you can't. And we have been, the things that we thought were absolutely hilarious listening to Peggy laugh at him every night, there's some audiences that just look at us and go blink, blink, blink.
Blink, blink.
And we're like,
Yeah.
no, that was funny. You need to laugh at that. We thought that was hilarious. So comedy is much, much harder. And I love that Zach said the thing about trust, because like I said, we all have a mutual respect for each other. But the trust is absolutely there.
Yeah.
And without revealing too many secrets, there have been moments on stage where an actor went up on a line and just went and looked at another actor, and they were able to immediately cover. I'm not going to say who that actor was that went up on their line, but we're all there to cover each other. And that's a really great feeling. Because Zach will tell you, I talk nonstop in this show.
Yeah.
Lene loves to make the joke that Shannon goes up there and goes, blah, 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 and then I go, yeah. And then Shannon goes, blah, 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 blah. And it's true. And I may or may not have burst into tears on stage one night because it was. So there is a vulnerability, and to know that there's actors there that are going to have your back is a great, great feeling.
Well, and in a drama, if you have a really intentional, poignant moment, the audience is silent either way.
Right.
Sure.
In a comedy,
sure. Well, you hope they're silent.
If it's not landing.
If the audience is laughing at that poignant moment in a drama, you've gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, something's gone off the rails. Zach, I want to know, what is it about Arsenic and Old Lace that appealed to you to audition in the first place?
Fair. I mean, the easy sort of starting point for that decision was at a certain point when ALT reveals who's directing and whatnot, that at least gives me something to kind of look at to gauge, because at this point I'm hoping to maybe work with as many different folks just to kind of get a better sense. Maybe one of these days I step backstage and work as an assistant with some of these folks too. I think that would be fun. So that was kind of the first point, was like, who's taking on charge? Not that I would have said no to this if it was Terry or Steven or somebody else. It's like, I'm intrigued at the story as well, because it seems like this kind of sweet spot in the year, now that it's 2 years in a row that here I am back in October. But I do kind of like that sort of darker comedy, and it is this sort of classic tale that has deep roots in true stories out in the East Coast that I would highly recommend folks go kind of do a little Google as well. It's kind of a fun origin story. The movie is really fun as well. I rented that from the library in preparation as well. It's iconic, and the director is very well known. If you've ever, seen It's a Wonderful Life, same director sort of thing. So I was just, these little nuggets of the timing, the direction, some of the research going into it. I was like, yeah, this seems like it's got a opportunity there.
Yeah, I love that. And I want everyone who's listening to listen, like when Zach was talking about renting the movie to prepare, like, we're talking about volunteers giving of their time, which I feel like is so precious. That's one of the most precious things that you can give to ALT, is your time. It's so valuable. People have families, people have jobs, people have lives, and to be willing to give the time that ALT requires when we're producing a show, it requires so much time. And I think it's such a beautiful thing when I hear volunteers who are just doing this because they love to do it and care about the art form and love the experience of it and meeting new people and working with new people. Not only are they giving us time here at the theater, but they're giving time outside of the theater to make sure that what they're bringing to the table is the highest quality possible. And for that, coming from a volunteer, I think is incredibly, incredibly special. So I so appreciate you saying that, Zach. I think that is such a beautiful part about what makes ALT so special, like you were referring to earlier, Shannon. And I'm curious for you, Shannon, what inspired you to audition for this show specifically? Oh God.
Because there's a part for an old lady.
Lene had a similar answer when I interviewed her last week.
I mean,
There's two. There's two.
There's two whole parts.
no chances for Shannon to be cast.
Two whole parts. You see all the male roles in this
Whole
show.
parts.
Just
Yeah,
everywhere you look, there's a male role.
there's 11 roles for males and 3 for women, and one I didn't qualify for because I'm not 20. I mean, that's the truth.
I don't know about that.
It's also such an iconic story, and I've watched. I hope none of these directors are going to hear me. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've watched really bad high school versions of it for years, and and then the movie. You know, I too watched the movie again in preparation because I was like, I've got to go off of something more recent than the last one act version that I've seen. But it's just so darkly funny that you laugh at stuff and then you're like, ooh, I shouldn't have laughed at that.
Yeah.
You know, but Abby is such, and I really was gunning for Abby because I kind of identify with her in a non-murderous way most days. Don't talk to me during my 8th period class, but about being non-murderous, but just her personality is, I think, very similar to my personality. You know, she's pretty boisterous and a little bit controlling, and very friendly until she poisons you, you know. But I really like her because I also see myself in her. You know, I think that's what I'm going to be in 20 years is Abby Brewster, hopefully without the arsenic.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Okay, so without giving anything away, Zach, you're very good at that. As we learned earlier, is there a moment that another actor has in the show that is your favorite that you look forward to every night someone else on stage doing?
Oh, certainly. And so, and it's not even, I don't even know that it's exactly moments, it's lines. They're because I do think some of this is my own sort of, I ingest too much British comedy, British sitcoms, British just panel shows. So I have a fairly red wine sense of humor, really dry. And there are a number of lines that Aunt Abby says that I think are very funny that I don't know that everyone catches. And sometimes it's because it's delivered in a little bit of a British sensibility where it's a little bit like a dig, or it almost kind of has the sense of the Dowager from
Downton.
Yes, from Downton, where it's like, you know, Dame Smith would singe you with that line, but it was subtle enough that it might not have offended you in the moment. And so I hope that those are the lines that folks are hearing and catching this weekend. So I won't say what those lines are, but I think Shannon's got a number of doozies that are really funny. I'm sitting upstairs waiting to make my entrance downstairs, and I'm laughing upstairs because it's like, that's very funny.
Well, I personally am now blown away by that. And you and I are going to have a conversation here in a couple of hours. And I'm going to give you a real big hug because that was a huge compliment. For me, well, first of all, Chris Gandy is just genius in the role of Mortimer. He brings to life Cary Grant. His facial expressions. There's times that he looks at me and I'm like, my gosh, his face is so funny. There's a moment, I can't tell you what it is, but he's on the staircase and I have him by the lapels, and the face that he gives me every night is hilarious. But I've got to hand it to Lene Jacob. I think the character that she's playing, I've always had so much respect for Lene because, like I said, I met her when I was in high school, and I've always admired her from afar. And I've always thought she's such a brilliant woman because she is. And Aunt Martha, there's times that I look at Lene on stage and there is nothing behind those eyeballs because Martha is just such an airhead. And Lene is playing it so perfectly that I just look and there's not a thought happening in Martha's head. And she's doing it so perfectly. But I think the one thing that I wait for every single night is Nels Bjork. On Saturday, because he comes in and he ad-libs a story every single night. He makes up a brand new story every single night, and we all wait to hear what Nels is going to say. And he has broken me twice on stage laughing, telling this story. And there was on Saturday night, I was late for my entrance because I was laughing so hard off stage at this ridiculous story he was telling that I could not come on until I got a hold of myself. So
Oh my gosh.
that's my moment. I mean, there's so many moments.
That's true.
Justin Lowe standing up on the balcony waving at individual people, at invisible people. I mean, there's so many little gems that are sprinkled throughout this show that you want to see it twice to catch everything because there's so much going on. But tune in for Nels's story as often.
I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited. So, Zach, why do you think people should audition for shows, see shows, or just volunteer at ALT?
I mean, that's a great question, and it's one that I try to tackle every year, teaching just your sort of intro to theater, and it's what I try to come back to is what is so unique and special, and it's what drew me into this sphere that I just can't really get out of that orbit, is how uniquely immediate theater is. It is not a book where I can hold it, I can look at it, I can read it, and I can just create images. It's not art where I go into a museum and I look at paintings and I have a personal interior experience, and the person right next to me is having a completely different experience. It's not a movie where the light's dark and it's just kind of be quiet and watch it. It is immediate. It's happening in real time. It's not distant from me. I have a shared experience because when I'm laughing, most likely others are laughing. So it's just this incredibly unique thing that you can't really replicate in so many other forms of art that we have. And that's not to diminish those forms, right? I'm a cinephile. I love going to the movies. In fact, I'm already looking at 2 other tickets I'll probably buy once the show is closed to go back to the movie theaters because I love it. But it is just so visceral. It's right there. What Nels is going to tell us that night is not the same the next night, and you can't replicate that with a movie. The Marty is going to go back in time every single time at the same moment in that movie. And so that's what I try to stress is,
what is the date that Marty goes back?
It's November 5th.
This was a huge debate backstage the other night. That's why.
But that was my sort of spiel on like what is just special about theater. And then for the audition portion, I would just say shoot your shots. You never know if it's going to vibe with you unless you come out and check it out, watch some shows, get a vibe for the spaces, get a vibe for the atmosphere, take a shot on that Monday or Tuesday audition. You have to do absolutely nothing. Just come in with your bright, shining face, read some lines, maybe do something goofy or something poignant, and go about the rest of your day.
I love that. I love that. Shannon, why should people carve out time to see this show at ALT?
It's a once in a lifetime experience. You know, our dear Alan Shinkles used to tell all of us that we carve our art in snow. It is for a moment, and come and live that moment, because it will never happen again. And this show is just really something special. It is, I mean, right now the world is such an ugly place. You know, people aren't nice to each other. People are saying terrible things and ugly things are happening out in the world. So why not come sit in a safe space for 2 hours and get to laugh at a ridiculous story? Watching brilliant actors just work their way through this brilliant piece in a once in a lifetime situation, because no 2 shows are alike. And for goodness sake, come hear Nelson's.
Oh my gosh. Come hear Nelson's improv story. That's worth the price of admission right there.
It is. I would pay twice. But seriously, escape the mundaneness and the ugliness of the world and come live in our world for 2 hours where murder is hilarious.
Put that on a shirt. Just AOP, we have a shop, right?
Yeah, you and I will talk. We'll design a shirt tonight. Murder is
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. Murder's hilarious.
You guys, I have absolutely loved chatting with you today. I appreciate so much both of you. I know you're both so busy and you've got a show tonight, and I just appreciate you so much. Shannon, it's always a joy to chat with you. And Zach, it was such a pleasure to chat with you today. You guys just clearly care about what you're doing so much, and it makes the interview that much more fun for me because it's so clear how much you care about it. Guys, this is it for Thursdays at 3 today. Make sure to get your tickets for Arsenic and Old Lace. You only have 4 more chances to see it, and tonight is 2 for 1. 2 for 1 tickets tonight. If you use code Elderberry, you can call the box office. It's $347. You can call them until 5 o'clock, or you can go online and get your tickets. If you go online, use code Elderberry if you're seeing the show tonight to get your 2 for 1 tickets.
Yes, the show is appropriate for kids 10 and over. Go trick or treat at 5 o'clock and come to the theater at 7:30 in costume. We do have something special planned for tonight only.
Guys, breaking news. You heard it here first. Something special for the kids tonight.
That's right.
Come and see Arsenic and Old Lace. We have a great specialty cocktail. You're going to love it. Obviously not for the kids 10 and over, but the kids 21 and over can have the specialty cocktail.
And there's cookies for the little ones.
That's right. This is closing weekend of Arsenic and Old Lace. Sunday is your last chance to see it. Come see these stew tars, 2 stars in their element. And thank you
2 shirts.
Again.
That's a second shirt.
Yeah. Please don't document that. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Enjoy your last 4 shows. Happy Halloween. Break all the legs. And I will see the rest of you right back here next week. I'll talk to you guys later. Break legs.
Thank you.
Bye.